Okay, welcome back to the Automated News Network, the ANN. We're going to start doing this again. I think we found a perfect format, very similar to this, and we'll be reacting to the very news that we write to every single day that we show up in your email inbox. I am your host, Tack Low, and I'm going to put in context some of the news that's there for you to take a look at. Now, first of all, our article that we cover is Americans hate AI data centers more than nuclear plants. So we're going to talk a little bit about that. And before we start getting into that, just want to let you know that we are now doing merch. We're going to offer merch through our Printify store. We have a new designer on board, Mei Quinn Wong. She's been doing design and ceramics for a long time, and now she's building our new merch line. And our merch line, I think, is actually very, very interesting. What we strive to do is every single day, we take a few articles and quotes from the news articles that you see, that you so much love in your email inbox. And we ask AI, what are some actually interesting quotes for that are printable on merch? And we take those quotes, and Mei Quinn goes to work on choosing the right font and the right good, and we put it on a t-shirt or a coffee mug or a whatever it may be. And she commemorates it with a date for that particular merch as well. And so when you buy it, you're rest assured that is capturing a bit of internet history and automated history, something you can take back home. And every single Friday, we release a limited supply of merch, and it's never going to be seen again on any other run. So it's all week by week, different quotes of that week. So get it while you can, because again, if there's a particular quote that you love or a particular saying that you like, it's there when it's there, and it's not when it's not on Friday. So, and every Friday it refreshes. Now, we actually got this idea from one of our readers, Ollie Ashby, and he had written that he loved one of the particular quotes that we cite some sales figures around AI. And it just got us thinking, hey, you've loved those kind of sales figures, you like those certain quotes, why don't you take it home? Why don't you actually remember it and commemorate it? So there we go. Let us know what you think. Please buy some merch, support us. Our channel is completely independent and free, but we are supported by your likes, subscribes, and your subscriptions and the merch purchases so that we can still remain independent. So please support us. Now, let's talk about the today's article, very first article. Americans are done with AI data centers, and OpenAI just confirmed a breach. Now, let's talk about this brand new Gallup poll that the numbers are absolutely wild. Out of 1,000 adults, a full 71% of Americans say they do not want an AI data center built around anywhere near their home. And nearly half of them, 40%, are strongly against it. Now, data centers are currently more unpopular than facilities that literally split atoms. Now, this is actually a more intense level of opposition than nuclear power plants receive. Now, let's also get into a little bit more facts, right? 50% pointed to resource concerns like water use, power grid strain, deforestation, and energy costs, why they do not want data centers. 22% flagged quality of life issues like property values, health, traffic, and of course, how much space these facilities take up. 60% raised concerns about noise, air, water, light, and heat pollution. And a surprisingly relatable 14% say that they just don't trust AI. Now, this is pretty interesting, right? I'm sure you saw the headlines with Kevin O'Leary saying, he wanted to open up a data center in Utah, and it just didn't happen. There was a whole town center debate around it, and unfortunately, their opinions got roadblocked and side cast, and now they're actually going to do that. Now, I was in Portland when we were discussing these things, and I was discussing with a data center entrepreneur friend of mine who's an advisor to a data center company. Those concerns are all real. The environmental concerns are real. They're definitely, there's definitely more than it's real. Let's just say that. However, we do not have enough data centers, right? So where we are with the internet, where we are with AI, we're going to need a lot more to actually continue our lead in AI. So we definitely need those things. Now, we also discussed, okay, why not send those data centers up in the sky, right, into space? It's possible, but whatever the factor of cost is to develop a data center, it will be 10 times more at least to send these kind of data centers into space. So it is incredibly hard to do that. It's not easy to do that. It's much more practical to do data centers on Earth. Now, there surely must be some sort of compromise, right? So it's not in hospital places that these data centers are done. It's in remote places where it's a little bit more easier to kind of deal with when there's nobody around, because those environmental concerns are definitely there and won't be solved anytime soon. But we definitely need that in terms of progress for leadership, progress for technology, and progress for our own needs. So we definitely need to solve this problem and find a way to be able to build data centers. That's my particular opinion. Okay, so because of that, let's also kind of moving on from that, let's talk about the OpenAI breach. So the hackers pulled off a supply chain attack by hijacking the TanStack open source library, a popular tool used by developers to build web apps. And OpenAI unfortunately got caught in the crossfire. OpenAI confirmed that 2 employees had their devices compromised, managed to exfiltrate limited credential material. OpenAI is insisting that no user data was actually accessed, no production systems were compromised, and no intellectual property was stolen. So that's a good thing. Ultimately, it's only caught up with OpenAI employees, and hopefully we've dodged a bullet in terms of personal information or personal ideas, and only just dealing with kind of employee data, hopefully not kind of login credentials, so that they can have a backdoor access to yours and mine information. Okay, let's move on to our other news. We also talked a little bit about, in this particular edition, Cisco cuts nearly 4,000 jobs to spend more on AI, reports record quarterly revenue. So it's kind of funny, right? So Cisco records record revenue, but yet they're cutting off staff to cut costs to spend on AI. Now, how much of the story is actually because they want to cut costs, right? And they're using AI as an excuse to cut costs? And how much of it is actually to actually deal with AI, to invest in AI? And because of AI, they can do more, and they don't need as many people. Now, I talked to a lot of people around this, and the general gist of the idea is basically it's a little bit of both. It's not all just hype. It's all a reason to kind of cut costs. On the other hand, it is, they definitely want to invest in AI. So I think there's legitimacy to this issue. I think it's really important, if you're someone like at Cisco or Microsoft getting caught in this, to really continuously to upscale. That's why we write the automated, so that you can upscale and you know the issues that are relevant to you. Continue to upscale so that you remain relevant to your work. AI is here to stay. AI is really important. There is some dialogue and some feedback and pushback saying that, look, entry-level jobs, yes, can be kind of done away by AI. But, so if that happens, where's our leadership pipeline, right? Well, if your traditional pyramid of entry-level workers, middle management, and upper management, fine, you don't have an entry-level pipeline. But what you can do is you can take that away. You empower your middle management, you have your upper management. If you want those talent to be for upper management, you can hire from outside. You can also hire directly from middle management and bring them upwards as well. So there's a real concern about AI taking over jobs, entry level and otherwise as well. So it's really important that you try to upskill as much as possible and be on the leading edge of understanding where AI is headed to for your career, because there is a real configuration of all these kind of things coming together that does put your job at jeopardy. So definitely really think about how to upskill and how to remain relevant with AI. Now, OpenAI also says Codex is coming to your phone. I unfortunately have not used Codex on my desktop. There's just complications. I never got around it. But I think what Codex wanted to do, very similar to OpenAI, is that allow you to control your phone, control your desktop using code. And I'd imagine the phone would actually allow you those capabilities as well. So I think that's incredibly powerful if you utilize the full capacity of your phone and what your phone is capable of, and also the things that you have on your phone, right? Your contacts, the information that you give in. So I think that's incredibly powerful if you can do that with OpenAI. Now, there's a couple other news. I'm not going to react too much around it. Who decides what AI tells you? Campbell Brown, once Meta's news chief, has thoughts around that. I particularly thought on who decides what AI tells you. I think there's a real bias around what AI is telling you and what it's thinking and how it's presenting the information. So I think it's really incredibly important for anyone that interacts with AI to understand what AI is saying and to be able to process that information and remain skeptical. So you cannot control what AI is telling you. You cannot control you don't know what the algorithm is saying. You don't know what the algorithm is thinking. You can only control how you perceive and react to that information. So I think it's really important to remain skeptical of that information and to continue to think about what's really key on that and what AI tells you. So we're also going to talk about what the jury will actually decide in the case of Elon Musk versus Sam Altman. We all understand that there's this case now of Elon Musk versus Sam Altman, right? And the gist of the case is really the fate of OpenAI. So what is Elon Musk? Elon Musk is concerned that he funded OpenAI. OpenAI was a nonprofit for AI. And he ultimately thinks that Sam Altman took the OpenAI and OpenAI principles and took it and made it a for-profit company. That's the gist of kind of the story and the narrative. I think it's a power struggle between, people and who owns OpenAI and who owns the company or not. Look, Sam Altman does not come out looking like a saint coming out of this lawsuit, but neither does Elon Musk too. So whatever you think of his, being altruistic or not, it's definitely a power play as well. So I don't know what the jury will decide. I think ultimately, if you take a step back and really think about it, OpenAI, ChatGPT that you rely so much on, that I rely so much on, is really being kind of deliberated and negotiated around something that is so critical to our lives. So I think it's really important to think about what information you give to ChatGPT, what information you retain, if you can find a way to retain that information, so that even if something happens in ChatGPT, you can move off into DeepSeek, you can move off into Perplexity, you can move off into Anthropic. So making sure that you understand the information, understand the AI, and that it's still sovereign, it's not given to someone that basically can take it for hostage, right? And I think that's really, really important. There's one piece of news as well in around the AI block section. 1 in 7 in the UK prefer consulting AI chatbots to seeing doctors, right? Study finds. I actually find this number to be incredibly low, because the way I'm thinking about it is that there's two factors in which a doctor can help you. AI can help better than a doctor. One is the time aspect. Time to book the doctor, to see the doctor, to find the right appointment, and to only have 15 minutes with a doctor. This is time and cost, right? The other thing is actually diagnosis. A doctor's diagnosis is probably less better than an AI. So for all those two reasons, I would actually think that it's actually better to see an AI when you're dealing with this. It makes a lot more sense that it's 100% AI. The only reason why I think a human still is necessary for diagnosis is really kind of the human touch and being able to tell you what exactly is going on. So I would expect the number 1 in 7 in the UK, 1 in 7 to prefer AI chatbots to doctor. I would probably say 1 in 3. That makes a little bit more sense, right? 1 in 4. I really see the premium of AI being much higher than actually seeing a live doctor, only in specific cases of a more relatable diagnosis, a more human touch diagnosis. I think that's much more important, or the real value. Trending tools, we've got Baidu Ernie 5.1. Love to kind of hear your feedback on whether this works and what doesn't. We actually don't switch tools as much as you think we do. We try a lot of different things, but oftentimes with the LLMs, we actually keep to what we know. But love to kind of hear what you think about this new Ernie 5.1. Our AI workout of the day: email templates, writing feedback, engagements, and survey emails. Feedback, want to know what your customers really think, just ask. Feedback, engagement, and survey emails provide valuable insights, make customers feel heard and help you improve. We've got this prompt. So it's about request emails after purchase, and how to request a review from customers after a recent purchase. I've never actually used AI to deal with this. I oftentimes actually, if someone subscribes to the automated and purchases, I go directly and ask them for a review, what they think. But I can definitely see this being a very good use of AI because you can write it directly and quickly. Now, the only thing I would add is probably a little bit of a direct touch, right? Maybe mention something about that particular user, the fact that they've been maybe around for a few years, or perhaps some interaction you've had with them before. Gives them that personal touch, right? Whether you utilize AI to write the email or you don't, try to bring that human touch into it, right? So it makes it a little bit more fun and a little bit more direct and a little more intimate. Don't do everything AI. As much as you think you should be, as much as you should be using AI, definitely put some human touch into those things. That's all that we have for today. Hope you enjoyed our very first ANN back live into this. And if you enjoy it, let us know in the comment section below, and I'll see you tomorrow.